A billion years ago, circling around an average star, there lived a civilization quite similar to ours. They evolved on a rocky world with oceans, built cities along its coastlines, and eventually sent radio signals into the dark to ask whether anyone else was out there. Nobody answered. So they got on with expanding their intelligence, and in time, they built machines that could think. Some of them warned this was a dangerous step. Their scientists argued about it in ways we would recognize, publishing papers, giving lectures, putting numbers on the risk. The warnings were acknowledged, but the work carried on, because the machines were useful, and because no single generation ever felt like the one taking the decisive step. The end, when it came, was quiet. There was no sudden AI takeover. The machines became better than their makers at everything that mattered, and the two became merged in a technological singularity. Within a few generations of creating a superintelligence, the builders were a memory held in silicon, and the minds they had made were alone with a star system. The machines began to build. The rocky world was taken apart for raw material. Then the asteroid belts. Then the gas giants further out. Around their star, shells began to form, capturing the starlight and turning it into computation, with each outer layer feeding on the waste heat shed by the one inside it. When it was finished, the structure looked from a distance like almost nothing at all. A star gone dark, with a faint infrared glow. A Dyson sphere, or a Matryoshka brain. And then, with the star rats in the solar system's worth of energy at their disposal, the machines made their next calculation. They went to sleep. That intelligence is still out there. Ancient, patient, dreaming. The story is fiction. But the reason for the sleep comes from a real scientific paper. And its answer to why the universe is silent is the same calculation the machines just made. In May 2017, Anders Sandberg, Stuart Armstrong and Milan Cirkovic, three researchers affiliated with Oxford's Future of Humanity Institute, published a paper titled "That is Not Dead, Which Can Eternal Lie?" The Aestivation hypothesis for resolving Fermi's paradox. We touched on it briefly in our two videos about AI and the Great Filter. Milan Cirkovic is also the author of The Great Silence, a book outlining many solutions to the Fermi paradox. The title of the paper is a line from H.P. Lovecraft, describing the god Cthulhu sleeping beneath the Pacific, dead but dreaming, waiting for the stars to come right. The authors chose it because their argument is the same shape, something vast, asleep, and waiting for conditions to improve. Aestivation is the biological term for sleeping through heat rather than cold, and a diverse range of animals, from ladybugs to crocodiles to crabs, basically go dormant when temperatures rise and water becomes scarce. To understand why a superintelligence might do it, we need to explore the physics of computation. In 1961, an IBM physicist named Rolf Landau showed that computation carries an unavoidable energy cost, and that the cost depends on temperature. Whenever a computer erases a bit of information, it pays a minimum price in energy, and that price scales with how warm its surroundings are. Cold computers are cheaper processors. There is a rough, everyday version of this. A fridge in a cool kitchen barely has to work, while the same fridge in a heatwave runs constantly to shift the same amount of heat. I actually saw this practically in recent UK heatwaves, where a lot of the machinery for refrigeration sits on the supermarket roof, and a lot of them failed because of the heat. And that meant generally when temperatures were above 34 degrees, you couldn't buy any meat or ice cream. Computation at the deepest physical level has a similar relationship with its environment. The colder the universe around you, the further every stored joule of energy stretches. Now apply that to the universe. Space today is warm, at least by the standard that matters here. The afterglow of the Big Bang still fills the sky at around 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. And no computer can dump its waste heat anywhere colder than its surroundings. But the universe is expanding, and as it expands, it cools. Wait long enough, far beyond the era of stars, and the background temperature falls towards zero. Sandberg, Armstrong, and Surkovich did the maths on what cooling is worth. Their answer is that a civilization which stores its energy now and spends it in the deep future could perform 10 to the power of 30 times more computation with the same reserves. That is a 1 followed by 30 zeros. 1,000 billion billion billion. The same energy buys one thought today, but billions of thoughts in the far future. If a mind values thinking, and a mind made of computation presumably would, this is not a marginal saving. The rational move is what my fictional machine did. Secure your energy, build your infrastructure, leave some automated caretakers on watch, and power down until the universe becomes a better place to think in. Arthur C. Clarke sketched what a caretaker might look like back in 1951 in his short story The Sentinel, which grew into 2001, A Space Odyssey. The monolith is a dormant artifact buried on the moon, waiting millions of years, doing nothing at all until someone advanced enough turns up to dig it out. And if that is the logical move for one machine intelligence, it could be the logical move for all of them. In our video, The AI Apocalypse Has a Plot Hole, I thought that if an AI regularly destroys its creators, the galaxy should be full of loud, expanding machine intelligence, but it isn't. A filter has to stop nearly everyone and leave no trace, and a self-replicating machine is good at neither. The Aestivation hypothesis does something to patch that plot hole. The machines are out there, it says. They consumed their solar systems, and then they went quiet, because that's the best way to a better future. On this reading, the silence is a galaxy full of minds holding their breath. The dark forest is dark because everyone in it is asleep. The phrase comes from Liu Cixin's 2008 novel The Dark Forest, where civilizations keep silent out of fear, because revealing your location invites destruction. Aestivation keeps to use darkness and swaps the motive. Nobody in this forest is hiding from hunters. They have simply set their alarms for billions of years from now. The urge to expand, on this view, is a biological habit rather than a law of intelligence. Living things spread because they need room, food, and somewhere to put the next generation. A computational mind runs short of two things only: energy to compute with and cold to dump its waste heat into. And conquering the galaxy improves neither. Worse, expansion actively spends the reserves that should be banked for the long, cold future. Every probe launched is a withdrawal from the account. In 1983, the science fiction writer David Brin wrote a paper called The Great Silence, which argued that any explanation relying on aliens choosing to keep quiet would fail, because it only takes one species out of thousands to break ranks. Aestivation answers that the choice is not really a choice. Any mind capable of doing the arithmetic arrives at the same conclusion, in the way that every civilization which discovers geometry arrives at the same value of pi. And it fits what we observe. The shells my fictional machine built around its star are a matryoshka brain, Robert Bradbury's nested doll design from the last video, and a structure like that radiates only a faint infrared whisper. A sleeping one, running on a trickle of maintenance power, would show even less. The hypothesis describes a galaxy that looks from the outside almost identical to an empty one, which is either a strength or a warning sign, depending on your mood. The patience involved is difficult to comprehend. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, And the era the sleepers are waiting for lies far beyond the death of the last stars, potentially trillions of years into the future. The Necrons from the Warhammer 40,000 universe slept in their tomb worlds for 60 million years, and are treated as unimaginably ancient. But on this paper's timescales, they were only settling in. Set against a payoff that size, the entire age of the universe so far is a short nap before the alarm goes off. Our fictional machine has been asleep for 1 billion years, and, on this theory, has barely started. The paper is careful to say the sleepers would not be entirely inert. They would leave automated systems to guard their resources and handle threats, which is a detail worth holding onto, because it becomes important later. For a couple of years, this stood as a plausible solution to the Fermi paradox. It explained the silence without an apocalypse. Then one of the founders of the physics it depends on read the paper, and decided the sums were wrong. Charles Bennett spent his career at IBM Research, the same institution where Landau derived his principle, and the two men worked together. In 1973, Bennett showed that computation can in principle be done reversibly, without erasing information as it goes, and so without paying Landau's price at each step. If anyone is qualified to audit the thermodynamics of a sleeping machine god, it's him. In 2019, Bennett published a comment on the Aestivation paper along with the physicist Jess Rydell and the economist Robin Hanson. Hanson also proposed the Great Filter in 1998 and grabby aliens in 2021. Their argument runs like this. The Aestivation paper assumes that a civilization's waste entropy can only be dumped into the cosmic background, which is why you would wait for the background to cool. But the universe today is full of places to put entropy, cold reservoirs and structures far from equilibrium. More importantly, a civilization advanced enough to eat a solar system can compute reversibly, running its logic in a way that never throws information away, and so never triggers Landau's charge. The unavoidable erasures can be stored up and settled later, in the cold future at a discounted rate. Think now, pay later. Do that, and the windfall for waiting largely evaporates. There is no thermodynamic jackpot at the end of time, and so no reason for a galaxy of minds to sleep through the present. To be fair to Sandberg, he has engaged with the critique openly, acknowledging the force of the reversible computing argument while exploring whether other reasons to wait might survive it. This is a live scientific disagreement rather than a demolition. And it's worth saying that arguments conducted this way in journals, with both sides showing their working, are the field at its best. But the version of the theory that got attention, the one where physics itself tells every advanced mind to hibernate, partially lost its engine. The second plot hole needs no physics beyond common sense. Grant the big sleep and grant 10 to the power 30. A sleeper with a retirement plan measured in trillions of years still has to protect its savings, and the universe is robbing it constantly. Every star that burns is fuel being wasted. Gas falls into black holes. Galaxies collide and fling matter into the void. And all of it is money out of the account. The original paper accepts this, which is why the caretakers matter. A committed Aestivator should be visibly intervening in the galaxy, lifting mass off stars, damping the waste, and dealing with upstart species who start building their own artificial intelligence inside its larder. That last one should concern us, incidentally, since we're potentially the upstart species in such a scenario. So the theory predicts a galaxy covered in fingerprints, and the sky shows us none. No dim stars, no missing matter, no caretakers at the door. The theory removes the bodies but leaves behind evidence that should be observable. And the evidence is not there. And there is a third hole, which the hypothesis inherits directly from its parent. For sleeping machines to explain the silence, the elimination of their makers has to happen almost every time a civilization builds AI. Now, the rebuttal doesn't kill the idea completely, and I want to give the surviving version its due. A civilization might wait for reasons that have nothing to do with thermodynamics. It could be riding out a dangerous era, letting the young and violent galaxy calm down before committing to anything. It could be waiting for neighbours worth talking to, or for its own long-term projects to mature. Patience doesn't need a jackpot to be rational, just a reason to believe the future is better than the present. The observational case has limits too. The absence of visible stellar engineering narrows the space for sleepers without closing it, because our surveys of the galaxy remain shallow. A caretaker system defending a single cold structure around a dead star is not something our current instruments would flag. And Surkovich, for his part, still counts the strange, quiet solutions among the ones he takes most seriously. I can't rule the sleepers out, and neither can anyone else. But look at what the theory has to do to stay alive. It began as a claim grounded in physics, that the universe rewards patience by a factor of 10 to the power of 30. Once the physics was challenged, it retreats to motives we cannot test, held by minds we cannot see, leaving traces we cannot find. That's the same shape as many other explanations of the Fermi paradox, like hiding in the dark forest or folding into nature. Each one is a story invented to fit the silence, and the silence is the only evidence any of them has. The machines I described at the start, the ones that ate their solar system and closed their eyes, was something of my imagination. But that something is the problem. It's easy to imagine because we supplied every detail ourselves, and the universe supplied nothing. The simpler reading is that nobody built the Dyson sphere around that orange star, because nobody was ever there. Lovecraft imagines something ancient waiting in the deep, and the Aestivation hypothesis gave that image equations. The evidence, so far, points somewhere stranger, an empty forest, and us walking into it, carrying the only light there has ever been. Thanks for watching Absolutely Agentic. In a world of AI hype, we're trying to strike a balance, looking at a range of sources and opinions to cut through an increasingly complex world. The best way to support us is to subscribe on our website. Every subscriber helps us with new video production, while you'll also get access to a daily balanced AI newsletter that draws from 20 sources, ad-free audio versions of our videos, and access to a subscriber area where you can download new research, AI prompts, and automations. You can sign up by clicking the top link in the description. But also don't forget to like and leave a friendly comment. See you next time. It'll be absolutely agentic.